A good day to my viewers and subscribers. Well, today's project is going to be reconditioning of my utility trailer. I'm going to be replacing the idler hubs, the wheels, tires, greasing the bearings. And I've already took everything off here. Putting everything back on is basically, installation is the same as removal, or what is that saying go there? So when I install everything, then you'll be able to see how I removed everything. It's really easy here. Just a few notes here, or before I start. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show the actual work that I'm doing. I'm just going to explain of what I'm going to be doing, because I don't have my cameraman, and which is kind of a big loss to me and to my viewers and subscribers, because then they'll be able to see what I'm actually doing instead of just me hearing me blabber about what I'm going to be doing here. So I apologize for that. I'll do my best to give as much instruction as I can. There's a lot of videos out there on YouTube that have, repacking bearings, replacing idler hubs, etc., setting bearing preload, etc. I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth here. So this is my utility trailer. I've owned this since new. I bought it in 2001. It's 4 foot wide. Well, it's about 4.5 foot wide, 4 foot long, and it has a tilt bed. And I've repacked the bearings a couple times. I don't use it that much, but this time around I thought, well, let me do a full recondition on it here. So my first note here is, okay, so this is the spindle. It's just a regular spindle. It does not have the Easy Lube spindle here, which would be nice. But anyway, so this is the spindle here. Just a note here, I've already obviously cleaned everything off. So this is the spindle. That's where my cotter pin goes through. That's the threads. And this is obviously the shaft. Now, because this is a 1-inch spindle, I'm using bearings L44643. Both inner and outer are the same. So this shaft here is, there's no indentations, okay? Because there's no step-ups or anything like that, because they're the same bearing. So this is all one smooth shaft here. So what you really want to ensure is to make sure that this is free of all sort of rust or pitting or anything like that. You see there's just a little bit of a ledge there. I can just feel it very slightly with my fingernail right there. You can probably see it. It looks worse than it actually is. As long as the bearing, because this is where the inner bearing sits right here. Now that's really important that that be clean and there be no I guess, I don't know, burrs, excuse me, or edges there. But this one is actually quite good, actually. Of course, yeah, and this is, so ensure that that's clean right there. This is where the seal rides, okay? So this long portion here. This really has to be cleaned, because if it's not, you're going to burn your seal out. You're going to damage the seal there. So very important to make sure that this is cleaned. The way I cleaned it is I got some emery cloth, not sandpaper, but emery cloth. I used emery cloth. Now this is medium. I actually used coarse. And I just, this is about, I don't know what, almost an inch, or well, I guess 2 inches. And then I just folded it in half, and then just kind of went in this type of a, just, if I can grab this here, like so. And I went all along there, if you can see me, moving it back and forth like that, both on the spindle and where the bearing, where the seal rides as well too. So you got to make sure that is. Let me put this away. That is very, very clean, and as you can see, mine is like pretty clean on both sides there. There's just a super small amounts of pitting there, but nothing that the new seal can't handle there. So very important to have your spindle clean, no damage there, and where the seal rides there. Okay. So now let's just go back to my parts here. Of course, those are the new tires that I'm going to be putting on, or I guess tire and wheel assemblies. So here are my parts right here. These are my hubs, idler hubs. Let me just flip this around here. Okay. The old, sorry, I don't have the old hubs out. The old hubs had bolts. These have nuts, so these have studded idler hub, which is fine. I actually prefer these. Here are the two bearings. Very important for your application to get the correct bearing. I don't think you can read that out, but L44643, both ones. This is the seal, the nut. Mine did not have a washer. This is a 1-inch washer. You need this washer. And then the appropriate sized cotter pin. This is what was in there before. This is a thicker one, I forget the size. And then this is a slightly thinner one. But I'll show when that's installed there. And here's the seal. Now this is a double lip seal, which I highly recommend, even though this isn't used for a marine application. See, there's a seal right there. And then if you look at it, there's one on the inside there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the outside and there's the inside there. So this is a double lip seal. So I recommend using a double lip seal there. I'm not going to show greasing the bearings, but there's they're basically just going to grab some grease. I'm going to wear gloves, of course, and then just force the grease from the outside in here. And then when you start to see the grease coming through, you know you've gotten it in between the rollers there. So these are new bearings. Might as well put new bearings in there. And then this is going to get greased slightly there. And of course the new seal is going to get pressed in the back there. The races are already installed. You want to make sure these are clean. There's absolutely no rust and there's no damage or burring or anything like that. It's a good idea to replace the bearings every time. Well, you know, depending on how much, when you repack them, you can just repack them and reuse the old races and bearings. If you're definitely replacing the bearings, replace the races as well. So one last note here, this is a Dexter 8-259 that's written on the back there. I think you can probably read that out. You can make that out there. And what that means is if you go on Dexter's website there, it's 5.5-inch diameter. So from there to, you know, if you draw a circle, you know, right there. And this is used for 8-inch to 12-inch wheels, okay? Very important. And you want to make sure you use the correct bearings there, okay? L44643. If you have the 1.06 diameter spindle, you have to use the L44649 bearings, which have the same inner race, but the bearings here are they're larger and the inside diameter is larger. So very important to make sure you're using the right ones here. So I'm just going to start packing the bearings here, and I'll come and show a picture once I installed the seals there in the hubs, idler hubs. Okay, so just a quick note on my idler hubs. Here are the idler hubs that I received. Here's the part number here. I got it from eTrailer.com. Part number is 8-259-50BTUC1. 5.5-inch Galdex hub with L4463 bearings, 5 on 4.5. So that's the diameter, 5.5 inches from there to like the outside part if you draw a circle. And that's for, I believe, 8 to 12-inch wheels. And it's a 5-bolt by 4.5-inch offset there. So just a note, these are the lug nuts. So this is a 1/2 inch by 20, so 1/2 inch diameter stud by 20 threads per inch. And this is the nut, and again 1/2 by 20. And this has a 60-degree cone on it. So depending on your application, got to make sure you get that you get the right nut here. So if you just take a quick look here, yeah, the Galdex coating is, from what I understand on the website, is an anti-rust agent that they spray this with. But when I went to put on the wheel nuts there, it wouldn't go on. So let me just try to put this on here. So I'm threading it in, and immediately I get resistance. I get resistance, a little bit of resistance. Oh, see, I got resistance there. I don't really want to go more than that. It's a little bit tight. Okay, now it's tight. I'm not forcing it. I don't know, maybe putting 3-4 pounds of torque on there. And well, this one is actually okay. Yeah, there we go. You see, this is tight now. How I'm torquing it, and I'm moving this whole hub. So what you need to do is, let me just remove this, is to take a thread chaser. Okay, so this is a thread chaser, and obviously this is a 1/2 inch by 20. I don't think you can read that out, but a 1/2 by 20 thread chaser. I have some WD-40 there. I spray on there, and then just chase this down and up. And then once I did that, you can see that this nut just slides right down. See, with one finger, and it just slides right down without any issues there. So the note here, the takeaway note here is, especially on, when these are new, but even if it's a used hub or stud and nut, they should still go on like this without any resistance at all there. So the takeaway is, make sure that your nuts thread onto this stud easily. If they don't, then clean them. Make sure you've got a good nut and the stud, and neither are damaged. And then if they're not damaged, then go ahead and chase them with the chaser right here. Chase them down. I'm not going to show that because I'm doing this one-handed here. And because if you don't, you risk, if you put this on, say you're using an impact gun, it might cross thread, you might damage the threads, and then when you take it off, that's when you'll notice that it's cross-threaded, and you risk the wheel falling off, etc. So this is really, really important. I really wanted to stress this. Make sure that these are clean and it goes on easily. Okay, so here's a picture of the hubs with the idler hubs with the inner bearing and inner seal installed. Those are the two outer bearings there. I went and got out my my grease packer there, or I should say, I'm sorry, the bearing packer along with my grease gun there. It just took way too long doing it by hand, and I just wasted so much grease. So I highly recommend one of those bearing packers. I think that one is made by Lyle. They're only, I don't know, maybe about $15-20, but it really makes their life a lot easier. Sorry I didn't show that again. I don't have a cameraman here, so really miss my cameraman. Anyways, so there's the seals installed. Just installing it flush. I used just a piece of I think this is 2x4 with the hammer with the red tip there, and just put this on top like so, and then just tapped it down, made sure it's nice and flush, and then I will be installing the outer bearings, the washer, a spindle washer, and then the nut, and then with the cotter pin. But I'll make a note on how to adjust the bearing clearance there. So yeah, other important thing, make sure you're using a grease that is compatible here. I'm just using Lucas extra heavy duty grease. This is rated, and this is really important because I've seen some people use lithium grease and some other type of grease. You really want to make sure it has an NLGI rating. This is NLGI number 2, and it says here NLGI rated GC-LB, the highest rated rating given for chassis and wheel bearing grease. So really important to use the proper grease. This just happens to be looks like a darker green type of color, but doesn't matter. Of course, you shouldn't mix greases, but this is what I'm using, and this is exactly what I have, a tube of this in the oh, sorry for going so fast, in the grease gun there, as you can see there. So yeah, slowly chugging along here. The next clip will be the hubs installed on the spindles. So here are the hubs installed here. I'm going to try to do, I already set the bearing preload on this one. So let me just go to the other side and see if I can just show you. According to the Dexter, the manufacturer Dexter, this is how you set the bearing preload. I'll leave a link in the description. So you take your spindle nut and you tighten it down while you're turning this. So let me see if I can do this like this. Okay, maybe you can see that. Okay, so you tighten it down with about 50 foot-pounds of force while you're turning this, of downward pressure. Okay, and then, let me see if I can grab the camera. Without touching the hub, you loosen it. So don't rotate the hub. So loosen this. Okay, so loosen that. Loosen it. Okay, without turning that. Okay, let me see if I can grab my camera a little bit better here. Okay, there we go. Loosen it. And then go finger tight, like so. That's finger tight. And then you back off onto the first, because this is a castle nut, the first hole. You see, you can't see it there. It's in between here. So back it off right there. It's right there. Let me grab the cotter pin. Put it through. Okay. All right, let's see. I should go through here. Okay. I'm having troubles putting the cotter pin in here. But you get the idea here. Okay, so that's what you do. Okay. I'm gonna have to fiddle with this because it looks like maybe I'll have to use a smaller cotter pin here. Oh no, there we go. It went through right there. So yeah, you don't want to use too small of a cotter pin because this is your safety here, so the nut doesn't back off here. So I'll just turn this here so there's enough room between the hub and the bearing cap there. So I'll just turn this to the side a bit there. So that's how you set the proper, according to Dexter, how you set the proper preload on this. And that's on their, they have an excellent YouTube video. Like I said, I'll leave a link there. So then I'm just going to put the wheels back on and then call it a day. Okay, so just a few notes about tires. So I'm going to use my trailer as an example. The tires that I have on there, they are the size 5.70-8, so 8-inch rim, 5.70 is bias. Ply tire. The rim is, of course, 8-inch, and it's a 5-bolt by 4.5 offset. I'll leave a link in the description on how you calculate that. But so in my application, size 5-bolt by 4.5 offset, and load range C, meaning that this tire can carry a maximum load of 910 pounds at 75 psi cold. So you want to keep that in mind when you're replacing your tires, the size, the load range, and of course the cold tire inflation pressure. Of course, you'd also want to inspect all your tires and the tread for any cracks or gashes or punctures, uneven wear, and stick to the same brand of tire. These both are, that one and that one, are Sure Trail. S means that was for a spare. R means that it was on my right side of the utility trailer, so passenger side, and that one was left side, on the left side of the utility trailer. If you notice, that one here, this one here, is actually a different brand tire. It's the same size, 5.70 by 8, load range C, but this one is branded as Nanco, whereas these other two are Sure Trail. So exactly the same tire, but you can look at it, if you put them side by side, that one there is actually larger. So you would want to be careful with that, just because it has the same size, maybe not necessarily in this case that it'll be the same physical size between or I guess that would be between brands there. So the other thing is let me just go over here with the new tires here. Obviously, I bought 3 new tires. This 2 are going to go in the trailer. 1 is going to be used as a spare. I'll show you. It's easier to see here. Tread wear indicator. You can actually see where that is. I don't know if the camera can show you there, but it should show you a little bump there. Okay, I don't think you can. If you look at this is smooth, and then there's a little bump here, just like a car tire on a car there. So I can't really show that on camera. The other important thing is to check the date code. So this is a Carlisle brand tire that I went with, 5.7 by 8, of course, and a load range C right there. And this is 910 pounds at 75 psi cold. And the date code on this tire is, if you look at the DOT number here right after it, sometimes you have to go to the inside of the tire. It says there, I don't know if you can read that out, but it says 2718. So that means the 27th week of 2018. Whereas, for example, this tire was original to my utility trailer. This one says 0700, so 7th week of 2000. So probably a good idea to replace the tires once they get, I don't know what they recommend, probably five years or maybe even a little bit longer. But this was time for a change there. So just a few notes about tires. Okay, so here is the, okay, I don't know why this is so close here. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so here the wheels are, wheel tire assemblies are put on. Since these are 1/2 inch diameter studs by 20 threads per inch, the torque, the recommended torque rate setting for the nuts is between 75 to 85 pounds-feet of torque. Again, make sure the hub assembly is clean. In my case, they're new. And also on the back of the wheel, make sure that surface, so on the back side, that surface is clean. There's no rust or anything like that on there. And of course, torque it down to spec. And of course, I think they recommend retorquing them after, I think it's 15 to 20 kilometers or miles, something like that. And then another 50 kilometers after that. So it's good to retorque them at least 2 or 3 times. So that's it for the wheels and tires. Yeah, I also wanted to mention, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Why is this thing so close here? Okay, let me zoom totally out here. Okay, I forgot to mention that, of course, proper tire pressure, checking the tire pressure. And I can't, my other hand is being used to hold the camera here, but just check, put your hand on the top here, your other hand on the bottom, and then just check for play up and down, and over here as well too on the side there. A little bit of play, maybe 1/8 of an inch is good, but anything more than that, you're gonna have to readjust the bearings. And then, of course, it should spin freely like this. So just wanted to mention that. Okay, one last, I don't know why this thing keeps focusing out here, or in. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what the heck's wrong with this thing. Okay, well, the last thing I wanted to show is how to adjust the coupler latch there. And if you look, you should do this with the vehicle, with the receiver hooked up to the vehicle. And basically, when you put this on, okay, then there should be no, if you move this, if you move your bar up, down, sideways, etc., there should be no play. If there is play, there is a nut right there, and you just push that
that little locking tab up and then either tighten it or loosen it. I'll leave a link. Dutton Laneson has an excellent video on how to adjust the coupler. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called now off the top of my head here. The latch here to the ball here, because that's really important. So you want to make sure you have no play there. It's not too tight, not too loose. If it's too tight, then you won't be able to close this. If it's too loose, there'll be movement there. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, and I should also mention that you should put some sort of lubricating agent on the hitch ball there. You can't see it, but I just use regular grease, but I think they recommend lithium grease should be good for that application. So don't forget to keep that greased. Okay, so this is the end of the series here for this my utility trailer rebuild. And okay, I don't know why this. I have to figure out how to use this on my phone here. Yeah, that's it for the series there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And I hope I was able to help someone, or if they had any questions. Hopefully I was able to answer them. Again, I apologize for not showing the repairs. I lost my, I didn't have my cameraman here, so that was a real challenge here, because you need both hands for this job, especially repacking those bearings. It's a little bit of a messy job, but it's much easier with that bearing repacker there. So if you follow the maintenance procedures on your utility trailer regularly, then you should get lots of life left on it. I'll also leave a link in the description of that little marine, I think, trailer stand with a wheel there. Makes it really easy to move this trailer in the garage here. I mean, I can just move it around, wheel it around with one hand here. So you can just see this, it's pretty easy to move there. So that's a nifty little addition there. I'll leave a link where I purchased it from Dutton Laneson in the United States. That's where I purchased it from. So again, I'm always grateful to my viewers and my subscribers, and thank you for watching.